And even then, the Shadow Immigration Minister warns Labor will not have its policy ready.
It could be months rather than weeks, but I would rather take the time and get it right than come up with a quick media grab and get it wrong.
Labor's leader made it clear today he expects the same discipline from all his MPs, especially frontbenchers like Carmen Lawrence, who've been very vocal in their calls for a softer stance.
All I'm asking is that they consult with their colleagues before making statements.
Mr Crean says mandatory detention should be retained, but he supports speedier processing and a one-stop mechanism for dealing with appeals. Gillian Bradford, Lateline.
This is life in the so-called Dole Army. If it wasn't real, it'd almost be comical.
The only problem is it isn't real, and yes, it is comical. A group of Melbourne anarchists hoodwinked two of the nation's tabloid news programs with a fantastic story about a gang who live underneath our major cities, scavenging food and plotting to rort unemployment benefits, recruiting new members to the cause via a subversive website.
John Howard wouldn't know a battler if he reversed over one in his limousine.
Meetings like this, they talk tactics, recruitment, how to extract more money from taxpayers and survival. Talk about work and the Dole Army claiming a membership of 70 gets defensive.
It's not like we've been leeching off the welfare system for years or anything. I choose not to work now.
Today, the anonymous pranksters behind the Dole Army came clean, admitting they'd pulled off an elaborate hoax, even getting one of the stations to pay them for their bogus story.
To begin with, it was to basically put the tabloid journalists down where they belong, which is in the gutter.
I work really hard. I pay half of my salary goes in taxes every week, I promise you that. I work really hard, sometimes too hard.
Do you call this working hard?
Yeah, it is hard work sometimes. Not all the time. But why should I support you?
As well as the fun of fooling the two TV programs, the group say there was a serious point behind their media prank.
Those tabloid news programs basically, will show anything that fits their point of view, and we fitted their point of view because we were, for them, a bunch of dole blodgers living down a drain, and that's their interpretation of what unemployed people are.
A Current Affair and Today Tonight can't say there weren't clues that the Dole Army wasn't quite all it seemed. Right at the top of the front page of their website, a small picture of Bill Gates with a custard pie on his face. In fact, the legend of the Dole Army owes much to a new form of protest sweeping the world called culture jamming. It's closely linked to the anti-globalisation and anti-capitalist protests we've seen in cities around the world in recent years.
Especially younger activists feel quite powerless within the mainstream media. They see this as a way of getting their message out quite cheaply, quite creatively, and by using the media against itself, it creates quite a powerful message.
Ironically, the only person who seemed to have an inkling that the Dole Army wasn't exactly what it seemed was the group's supposed sworn enemy, the Federal Minister for Employment Relations, Tony Abbott.
They think they're being smart. I think they're being smart aleck.
Tonight, in scenes reminiscent of the ABC comedy Frontline, the networks were mad as hell, but defended last night's stories.
Like jobs in the Dole Army, morals seem to be in short supply. First, they demanded we buy them a generator. We refused. Then, as we continued to film them, they continued to demand some form of payment.
Some of the hoaxers say they have paid jobs. Others don't, but they say they undertake community work with unemployed people. And they warn they may strike again.
I guess you'll have to wait and see.
Mark Tamhane, Lateline.